Hello, lovely bloomers. I wanted to talk about something a bit different. Um, and I thought this was quite relevant at the moment because for those of you that are in a relationship but aren't living together, you're pretty much experiencing this right now, even though, they might be down the road from you. So I'm going to be talking about long distance relationships and I'm going to share my best tips for how to manage this. I have I have personally been on this experience. We're not together anymore, but I definitely learned a lot. And I wanted to share some of like one of the most important things that I think is really important. So number one, have something physical that connects you together. For it could be anything like a bear that your partner has bought you. You can get these really cool pillows that when you touch it, when you go to bed, and your partner touches it, like it lights up on the other side. They're quite expensive, but it's a cool idea. Or you can get like lamps that do the same thing. So when you touch your lamp, you turn it on, the other person on the other side, no matter where they are, touches it too. Or you can have, a piece of clothing from the other person. Or one of the things that I thought was really cute about my past relationship, we had matching necklaces. So especially when we were talking to each other, or if we were apart and we were missing each other, we would literally pick it up and kiss it together. Like, it was really cute. So yeah, moving on. Number two, by the way, these are in no particular order. Have a plan to be together again. So this accounts on the short term and the long term. Short term wise, it's really important that you have a date in mind of the next time you see each other, because there's nothing worse than missing somebody. I know this can't really apply now, but I suppose it can virtually. But there's nothing more important than being able to, have your mind at ease, knowing when you're going to see each other next. It makes life so much harder when you have no idea, because you don't have anything to look forward to. And that's a really frustrating feeling. But foremost to that, to be honest, before you even get together, when you go in a long distance relationship, it's really important that you have a plan, like as an end goal. Like, who is going to move? Like, are you going to move? Are they going to move to you? Or are you going to go move some bit in between? Or are you going to go travelling together? Like, you need to have a plan in the end goal to know who is willing to do what. Because if, neither of you is willing to budge, then, to be blunt, there's no point in this relationship, because you have to be together. You can't be in a long distance relationship forever. You can do it pretty long term, like very hard it can be, but you have to be together in the end. Like, so this is something that's really important. You need to get grips with this. You need to talk about this if you haven't already. So yeah, number two, have virtual dates. Like, I can't stress how important this is, because obviously you can't see each other. This is the closest thing you can to get to see each other. There's so many different things you can do. And it's quite fun. You don't have to always arrange them together. Like, you can just say, I want to talk to you on video call at this time on this day, but don't tell them, like, because it's nice to, keep the surprises going. Or you can arrange a date together. So, I'll give you some examples. Like, these are my favourite ones. You can have a dinner date. So, set up your, table or romantic, and cook each other's favourite meal and sit down and eat it together over a video. That's fun. Or you can make a competition out of this too. Pick a dish, make sure you both have the same recipe, and cook it, and you can debate with each other who's turned out the best. One person might be really good and creative, and the other person may not, so that can be quite fun to do. And it's a sense of like togetherness. Even though you're not together, you're doing something together anyway. Another one I used to do, this helps if you have two devices, by the way. You can watch movies or have Netflix binges together. Like, that's quite fun to do. On one device you set up the movie to watch, and then on the other you can put the video cam on and point it at yourself. So it's like, whenever, you have those moments where something funny's happened, like, and you look at your person you're watching it with, like, moments like that. Or if you want to comment on stuff. Some people don't like to comment, some people do. If you don't have two devices, it doesn't work as well, but you can watch a movie, and as you're watching the movie, then you can just message each other. Or, just set a time, right, this is when we're going to do it. Press go at the same time, and then at the end, you can talk about what you've watched, if you can't do that. Another one is playing online games together. If you're a gamer, or if you're not a gamer, that's fine. You can play video games online, so you can have, you can play games together, shooting games, or like silly little games, like, I don't know, you can get like Sudoku, or stuff like that, or quizzes. That these can be a little bit difficult to find, but like, I recommend doing them because they're fun. They're good fun. Or you just make, your own games up. You play cards together. You can be a bit naughty with things like that, a bit of strip poker over the phone. It will lead to places. Another one of my favourites, because I love getting to know people, and I love testing people's knowledge about me. You can set up a couples quiz, so you can get loads of these again online, and then ask each other questions about each other, or would you rathers, or how much do you know about me? There's loads of things that you can do. There's this app called Happy Couples, where you can, like, I really liked it. You can learn a lot about each other from that. But there's loads of apps you can get, I'm sure. And then you can, you can learn more about each other, like tell each other story. It opens up for more communication. So, and then another one you can do is do some kind of craft together. Like, even if you're rubbish, like, go and get a canvas and just paint stuff. And then you can show each other afterwards, or like make fun of each other for being rubbish at it. That you can tease each other. Or like, even if you're not feeling very brave, like, you can do craft activities. Like, there's loads of colouring apps, so it can be quite a nice idea. You can colour something in, colour the same thing in, and then just compare each other's results. Just listen to music while you're doing it. That's a nice one. Anyway, moving on. That's enough babble from me. Number 3, know each other's love language. I don't know if you've heard of this, but especially if you're in a serious relationship, like, it's something that's really important to ensure that actually you're meeting each other's needs. Because if you don't have the same love languages, it's very often that automatically we tend to do things for other people that we would want to receive. There are 5 love languages, and there's a really good, I love this app so much. It's called Love Nudge. Basically, you can take a quiz to find out which is your love language. And then you can send each other like reminders or requests of things that you would like to be done to make you feel better, or more connected or more loved. There's a little there's like a little, I don't know what the word is, pedometer? No, it's probably not the right word. There's a little thing, like a little circle, and it tells you what percentage you feel loved. So if you notice your partner is on the low side, you can you can look up loads of tips and set yourself goals of things that you can do for them. It's just a really fun thing to do. Like, I love it. I really love doing it. So I'll go into the 5 love languages and give you some examples of things you can do through a long distance relationship. So number 1 is words of affirmation. So basically what this means is, in order for somebody to feel really loved, they like to be told things. You know, saying things like I love you, or telling somebody why you care about them, or saying things that encourage them or reassure them, that kind of thing. So my example that you can do of this is just write out a list of 10 things that you love or like about your partner, and send it to them. Number 2, acts of service. So basically this means that somebody most feels loved when other people do things for them. So when they feel like somebody's being helpful, that makes them feel really loved. Doing chores around the house for them can make them feel really good. Like, this one doesn't really apply to me at all, but here's a couple of things you can do. So I really like coupon books. I think they're fab, and it's a really good way for somebody that likes acts of service. Like, this can be I would say, is probably the most difficult thing to do when you're in a long distance relationship, but it is doable. So I recommend the best thing is to do a coupon book, and you can write little things like, when I next see you, I will wash your car for you, or I will do the dishes and stuff like that. Or if you really want to go outside the box, you can either hire somebody for them to come and do, just do some errands for them, or if you're in contact with a friend of theirs, you can ask them on your behalf to do something for you that really needs to be done. So if they're doing a project, for example, and they're finding it really stressful, you can send somebody out there to help relieve that stress by helping them do that, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. The next one is receiving gifts. So this doesn't mean that somebody necessarily is really materialistic. It means that there has been thought and effort put into the gift. So, if you go to the shop and you see something that your loved one might like, and you buy it because you're like, oh, that person would really love this, so I'm going to buy it and give it to them. That's what that means. It doesn't even have to be like buy stuff. You can make something that looks like crap and they would still really appreciate it because you put a lot of thought and effort into it. This personally, I have 2 top ones that are like joint. This is my top one for me. So in regards to this, like, it's pretty self-explanatory and you can do it. It can be as simple as, sending somebody a photo of yourself. Like, you might be wearing something that that they love seeing you in, and sending something as simple as sending them a photo of that is a way of showing, giving them a gift. Or it can be physical, so you can just send them something in the post. The next one, which is my other top thing to make me feel loved on a personal level, is quality time. So I know this might seem difficult when you're not with somebody, but this is where the importance of like video call, like, we're really lucky to have this stuff. life now for people that are in a long distance relationship is so much easier, because you can see each other, like, as though you're actually really there. So in order to probably best do this over the phone, I would say, is when you're talking, make sure that there's no distractions around you. So don't call somebody when you're in the middle of cooking dinner, or, you know, you're busy thinking of other things. Like, actually sit down, stop everything you're doing, and just sit and talk to them, like, and listen to them. I can't stress that enough. Like, people with this need to feel loved through quality time, they don't like it when people are on their phones and talking to them, for example. Like, that's really inconsiderate thing to do to somebody with this love language. Or even, like, if you go out, there might be an activity that they really like. Call them while you're doing it so they can experience it with you. And obviously the dating thing, virtual dates comes into this massively, because it's something that's really important. Like, it might just be a case of they want to do activities with you. Like, that might be something that's really important to them. Or it could just be as simple as they just want you to be there by their side. So yeah, and the last one is physical touch. Like, this again, this is a very difficult thing to do when you're in a long distance relationship, but there are ways. Telling somebody, like, what you want to do. So, you know, just saying, I really wish I could kiss you right now. That will hit into their sense of love. And obviously things like virtual sex would be probably a really big one on this, because that's their closest way of being able to be close to you. So don't be afraid. If you're in a relationship online, don't be afraid to have sex. Like, you can have sex without each other, you know, there's toys. Or it can be really sexy to just play with yourself in front of each other. And it might seem weird at first, but yeah, you can have a lot of fun with it. Like, sexting is a thing, you know, where you text each other stuff like, oh, this is what I'm going to do to you right now. Or, like, just making references to the future of when I'm going to see you next. I can't wait to hug you again. Like, stuff like that. So it doesn't always have to be sexual, but, you know, definitely voice a lot with somebody that feels loved over physical touch. Like, you need to voice a lot that, you know, you want to be affectionate with them physically. So moving on, this kind of links into this one as well, I suppose. Include each other in your lives. So, you know, you can talk to each other, ask them how their day is. Make sure, like, again, if you're going and doing stuff, send them videos, like little snippets, or bring them with you virtually. I think it's really important to include each other in their lives. Like, when you're, you know, include them with your friend. Have chat groups with your friends, and your partner in it, so they feel a sense like they're with you. Or send them photos of things you're doing. Or, you know, I really can't stress this enough, because if you don't include them in your lives, then it can make people feel like they're not important. And obviously you're not there with doing stuff with this person, so you need to make a connection as much as you can with each other, and including each other in each other's lives is, like, a really good way to do this. Also, there's another thing. So, like, when you're doing video calls, for example, if you want to, you know, have a lazy day and not do anything, or not even talk, like, there's nothing wrong with putting your video camera on each other and sitting and reading a book, like, and whilst they read a book, or whilst they watch TV, just to kind of stage what it would be like if you're actually together. Because when you're together, you don't always, you know, have to be doing stuff together, or you don't have to always be talking to each other. Like, so yeah, that's another little idea. Number 5, communication is like the biggest thing you need in a long distance relationship. If you don't have communication, you're fucked, to put it frankly. You need to be able to communicate. You have to be able to tell each other what you want and what you need. You need to be able to discuss everyday life, you know, make decisions together. And as I mentioned before, we are very lucky in the ways that we can do this. Like, there's so many ways. Like, you can video call, you can just text, you can use social media, you can do loads of stuff. And just to keep things a bit spicy as well, like, if you find yourself most of the time what you do is call each other, for example, every now and then just send a message or send a photo or a video, just to keep things interesting, because, you know, things can get boring if you let it, when you're in a long distance relationship. So just keep a varied communication with each other as well. I recommend, like, I'm into psychology obviously, but I do recommend, if you're in a long distance relationship, really get to the grips of how to communicate effectively, because a long distance relationship, it won't survive without good communication. It just won't. And you might think you're really good at communicating, but actually you might suck. I went on a taster counselling session, and I learned that my communication skills were not the best. Well, my listening skills were not the best. So yeah, I really recommend that, to make sure that you get both the best out of this relationship. So next one, this is something I really love doing, which was sending care packages, or there's a thing called open when letters. I made a lot of these. I will show you a picture here of one I made. You can find ideas for open when letters like everywhere on the internet. Pinterest particularly is an awesome platform for ideas for craft stuff and things to send. You know, and it's a good way to you can tie this in with like virtual dates. So make a little box to arrange a movie night, for example. So put a little packet of popcorn, microwavable popcorn in there. Make a little ticket which says admitted 1 to whatever the movie is called. Yeah, like, there's so many little things you can do. There's so many little fun things you can do for care packages, so have fun doing them. Yeah, they can be expensive though, like, just be aware. But the open when letters are great for if you don't have a lot of money, for example, because you can literally just put something flat in an envelope. So for example, I haven't really explained what open when letter is. So basically, if there is a certain time, so for example, I'm missing them, so you write in an envelope, open when you are missing me, and then inside you can put a little love note, or write a love letter, or put little photos of you and them together, like little things like that. There's so many different things you can do, and it's really fun to do. Like, my ex used to have nosebleeds a lot, so I did a really stupid little one where I put some tissue which had love hearts on it, and I drew a picture of his bleeding nose just for fun, because why not? Yeah, so that's a fun thing to do, especially if you're crafty. Number 6, don't stop getting to know each other. So it's really hard to properly get to know somebody when you're not together, because there's so much you can learn from the real world that you can't over a long distance relationship. So don't stop asking people, don't stop asking questions, don't stop, you know, trying to get to know them, their family, their friends. Yeah, don't stop getting to know each other, because it's part of what keeps things interesting in your relationship too. It's probably quite an obvious one, but I thought I'd throw it in there anyway. Number 7, stay positive. It's obviously, it's fine if you're feeling like crap and you really miss each other, like it's fine to tell them that, but don't make it a thing that every single time you talk that it becomes a, I really miss you, this sucks, because it's going to put down on the relationship and it's going to put a lot of pressure on your relationship. So as much as you can, just stay positive, talk about things that you enjoy, like, you know, share your gratitudes, and talk about your future together as well. You know, you should have plans of when you're going to next see each other, so talk about the things that you're going to do together, or how much you can't wait, and stuff like that. Number 9. Oh wait, that was number 9. Never mind, I've like messed this up. So the last thing I'm going to say, which is really, really, really important, is stay interdependent. For those of you that don't know what that means, it means a balance between being dependent and independent. The worst thing that you can do when you're in a long distance relationship is to rely solely on them. There's going to be times, especially if, you know, there's a time zone difference, that they're not going to be around. And you have to accept and understand that they're not going to always be around. So you need to have your own life. Like, keep living your life as though they were there. Don't just solely focus on the fact that they're not there. You need to have your own friends for your sanity, and so do they. And you need to have time away from each other, because, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And yeah, like, just the fact that you're in a long distance relationship doesn't, you know, mean that you have enough space, because there will be times where you get annoyed with each other, that you need to not talk to each other sometimes. This is something that you will have to play with a lot, because obviously everybody's different. Like, for me, I needed quite a bit of space. Like, I found I wanted to talk every day, but sometimes it just became too much. So every now and then I would just take a few days away. Like, I need some space. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. We had to play with it a lot. But I definitely would say, especially if you're video calling each other every day, at least take one day where you don't video call. Like, you can still talk, but just at least take one day, because if you're actually in a real relationship, you don't spend every second of your life with each other. You just don't. And if you do, then yeah, I don't really recommend that, because it's not healthy. You need space. Like, space is important in any relationship, including a long distance relationship. I also want to add as well, this isn't on my list, but I want to just add, when you do get to see each other again, like, be careful not to put a lot of pressure. I made this mistake. I had a really detailed plan, because I wanted him to meet all my friends. I wanted him to meet my family. I wanted to do, like, activities with him that he couldn't, because I didn't know when the next time I was going to see him was. I really wanted to make the most of being together and having fun together. But the reality is, that's not going to happen. Like, there's going to be stresses. You're in a normal relationship. Sometimes you have arguments, and sometimes you want to just do nothing. And I learned quite quickly, I'm the kind of person, like, I love to do stuff. Like, that's really important for me, to just do stuff. I'm not really the kind of person I do every now and then, but I'm not really the kind of person that will just sit at home and just watch Netflix all day. Like, that's not really the kind of person I am. So I made the mistake of doing that. My partner at the time was complete opposite, which is like one of the biggest reasons why we didn't work in the end. He wanted to be at home like a lot. He liked to just chill and just relax and do nothing, and occasionally go out, whereas I was complete opposite. And I put a lot of tension on our relationship when he first did come to visit me, because he wanted to just chill and just spend time together, and do nothing, whereas I wanted to go and do stuff. I wanted to show him around. I was really excited to show him around everywhere and do all these fun activities. And you know, I didn't make very much time for us to be by ourselves. So yeah, like, just be open to that when you do meet, that it's not going to be perfect, and please don't try and make it be perfect, because that's just not realistic, and it can do a lot of more damage to your relationship than good. So yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to add. So this has been a really long video, so I apologise for that. But I hope that this has given you, you know, some insight and has helped you in some way or inspired you. Yeah, I know it's not really, this might seem a bit irrelevant, but I think it's important to add relationship stuff in here regardless, because, you know, some parents or some people that are watching this channel may be in a long distance relationship, and that stress can leak into your life and into your parenting abilities. So that's the purpose of this video. I shall see you soon. Oh, and by the way, if you have any other ideas or that, like, for dates or anything I might have missed that you've got experience of long distance relationship and you want to add, please add it in the comments. Like, I would, and I'm sure a lot of other people would really appreciate that. So thank you again for listening. Much love. Have a good day.